So wherever you are, coming to your mat, and think about when you come to your mat, you're coming to your breath. So right now, in this moment, is your time to breathe. And connect with that heart-centered space. And take time to fully expand your breath and feel that generous rise. The lungs expanding outward in all directions. Listen to the sound of your breath. And then when you're ready, bring your eyes into the space. Reach your hands up towards the sky. And let your palms face each other. And take time to cross your hands and place them on opposite shoulders. And feel a rise of your chin. Try and draw the bottom of your belly in and stretch upward through your elbows, upward through your shoulder blades. Still doing your best to fully stretch your lungs. And then as you're reaching with your left arm back up to the sky, take it to your elbow and see if you can draw your right hand down to the middle of your back. And keep your chin elevated. And then reaching with both hands back up. And take your left hand to the center of your shoulders and use your right hand to draw your hand a little further down the spine. Again, elevate your chin. Breathing in, exhaling. And then both arms reaching up. And exhale your hands down. From here, we're going to go ahead and come to seated on the mat. And see if you can bring your feet to the earth. We're going to cross our ankles in front of each other and just hug your knees in. And do your best to have a nice upright spine. Feel your shoulders rest away from your ears. And then take time to extend your legs straight out, and we'll reach our arms up to the sky. And take a twist to your right side. And as you twist to the right side, just breathe there for a few moments. And once you come back to center, we'll take our left foot to the outside of the right knee and twist yourself to your left side. And you might hug your knee in towards your belly. Otherwise, just placing the elbow on the outside of the knee. And come back to center. We'll release our left leg, reach your hands up. And exhale, twist to your left side. Coming back to center, stepping the right foot to the outside of the left leg and gently twisting to your right. Again, you're more than welcome to bring your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. And then we're just going to make our way back to center. Tip yourself over to the left side, bend your left knee, and see if you can stack your right knee on top a little bit more. We're just going to take 5 breaths here. Again, keeping that nice upright spine. And then interlace your fingers. We'll turn our hands inside out and reach up to the sky. Releasing the right arm over to the right side, carrying the left arm over as you look towards the earth. And then both arms reaching back up to the sky. Exhale, hands out and down. We're going to change the crossing of our feet. And doing your best to stack your knees. We'll reach our hands back up. Exhale, this time left hand is over and the right arm is extending as you look towards the left side. And then rising back up, and we're going to cross our arms again, touch opposite shoulders. Try and elevate your chin and breathe with that upright spine. Open up your arms, change the crossing. Elevate your chin, touch your opposite shoulders. Keep breathing. And then arms reach up and exhale, hands come down. From here, go ahead and shift back. Take your feet about as wide as your mat. And once you come to that, we're just going to take our hands back with your fingers facing your hips, trying to open up your shoulders a little bit by squeezing the scapula together. We're going to elevate our sternum and slightly elevate your chin, but try not to take your head too far back. Keep squeezing in towards the midline. Try and root down through the heels and try and press down through the backs of the knees. Again, pushing forward with your sternum, pushing forward with the belly and the navel, really drawing the rib cage forward. And then push off with your fingers. We're going to take our hands the opposite way. So fingers are pointing away from you. Your thumbs would be outside. We're going to open up the heart here, push the heart and sternum forward. This time I want you to walk your feet in a little bit. See if you can set your feet down and just breathe there. All right, and then from here, we're going to interlace our fingers. Try and push your hands down into the ground and just feel that stretch there for a moment. And then we'll release our hands in the interlacing. Let's cross our ankles and we'll move forward. Once you do that, we're going to come to hands and knees, come right back to interlacing the fingers, push your palms down into the ground, round your spine, tuck your head, and feel yourself rising through the mid-back, your thoracic. And then we're just going to look forward and take the opposite, that cow-like belly. Just do that a few times. Keep your fingers interlaced, keep your palms pressing. Working with cat-cow. And then as you look forward, you're going to walk your hands forward, can sort of move your thumbs forward a little bit. And then as you keep those hands inside out, push forward, we're going to take the hips back. Your head could be floating or your forehead could be on the ground. And as you look forward, you can walk your hands back in a little bit. We're going to come back to interlacing those fingers. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. And then drop down to the knees. And with those interlaced fingers, you're going to reach your hands up to the sky. Really big breath. Bring your elbows down the sides. Once the elbows come down the sides, we're going to push those palms down back behind us. Interlace your fingers and open up your shoulders. Let's release the toes here for a moment. Just keep gazing forward as you really work on the top of the shoulder, the humerus bone, reaching back, lifting your hands off the back. Don't worry so much about pushing your low back or quads forward. Just work on the shoulder portion of this. So as upright spine as you can. Feeling the fingers interlaced but really long, pressing the tops of the shoulders down, but lifting your hands off your back. And then relax your arms a little bit. We're going to keep the interlaced fingers. Take them to the outside of your right hip as you step forward with your right foot. And we're just going to lunge there, getting a nice deep stretch in front of the left quad. You can feel that stretch hopefully in your left tricep as well. And then you're gonna press off that front foot and return your right knee back. Let's take our hands around to the left side, step forward with the left foot, and we'll lunge, stretching the front of the right quad. Good, push off that left foot, returning your left foot. Let's open up our shoulders again. This time as you open up your shoulders, bend your knees a little bit, start to push those quads forward, lift your gaze a little bit, still lifting your hands off your shoulders. If you want to leave your toes tucked, you can leave your toes tucked. Again, try and elevate your gaze a little bit here. Focus on that opening of the shoulders, heart, sternum forward. Feel that stretch across the pectoral muscles, across the collarbone. And then release your hands, reach your hands forward and up. Start to really lengthen your spine. So decreasing the curvature of the low back here. Think about upward movement with that shoulder girdle. Navel inward towards the spine, protecting your low back. And then we'll come back down to tabletop and we'll do a few rounds of normal cat-cow. Notice the sensation in your low back, your lumbar. That means really focus on a slower stretch on both sides. Right? Just exploring the sensation. And maybe the next time that you round your spine, you can press your heels up and back, and we'll take downward facing dog. As you press those palms forward, you can pedal out your feet a little bit. And then we're gonna walk our feet behind our hands. And you're going to come to your fingertips and rise up to the ball of the foot. Try and bend your knees a little bit. See if you can come back down to your palms. Tuck your head in between your shoulders, pushing into the ground, really rounding the tops of your shoulders. Think about knees moving towards your armpits here. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue, pressing up through the mid-back, back of the shoulders. Crown of the head is really heavy. And then rest your heels, look forward, and rise all the way up to standing. Hands are going to come out to the side. We're going to step back with our right foot. Once you step back with your right foot, you're going to drop that heel down. Reach your hands out to the sides. We're going to interlace, bringing our hand around to the left hip, and then you're going to look to your right side as you tip yourself over. So it's like triangle pose. Try and stack your shoulders, root your feet, breathing here. And then as you rise up, we're going to bring our hands back out to the sides. We're going to rotate to low lunge. So we'll drop that right knee down. Sweep your hands back, maybe releasing your right toes. Open up your shoulders and lunge into the left foot. Once you lunge into the left foot, let's see if we can elevate our left heel. Keep lifting the arms off the shoulders. And then as you pull back, you're going to sweep that right heel in, take your right hand down to the side, and we'll stack our shoulders here. So left knee is forward, right hand and right knee are in line with each other. Just breathing upward, gazing up towards your left palm. Good, let's bring that back to center. Once you bring it back to center, sweep your hands up to the sky again. Let's take that deep, low lunge. Open up your heart, open up your sternum. And then we'll take our hands down to the ground. Just simply step back to downward facing dog. You can pedal out your feet here a little bit. Move your shoulders by shifting forward and back, or downward facing dog to a plank pose. Keep it rounded in your upper back if you can. And then the next time you return to downward facing dog, step forward with your right foot. We're dropping that left heel down. We bring our arms out and open. This time, left hand is reaching around to the right side. As you interlace your fingers, you straighten your legs. Tip yourself over to the right. Gazing over to the left. Try and keep your shoulders stacked. Rooted through the outer edge of that left foot. Pushing forward through the right. And then rising back up, once your arms come out, we're going to pivot around to that low lunge. Reach your hands up to the sky. Open up your heart. Lunging forward, keep your right heel on the ground first. And then releasing your left toes, we're going to pull back, sweep those hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, open up your shoulders. This time as you lunge, you're going to elevate your right heel. Again, keep opening up your shoulders. Keep lifting those hands off your back if you can. And then rooting that heel, release your hands to the front of the mat. We step forward to the front of the mat. Halfway gaze, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, come to forward fold. Press into your feet, rise up to standing. Palms together, reach up. Let's bring our elbows down the side. Start to bend your knees. Bring your hands down. Press your palms. Step back for plank pose. Lower all the way to the earth. You might lower your knees first. Chest moving to upward facing dog. And then to downward facing dog. Let's see if we can take maybe 5 breaths here. Again, try to work those heels towards the earth, starting to stretch out your calf muscles, feeling that elevation of your shin. You can move your head forward and back. And then keep your toes tucked. We're going to move forward to that plank pose and shift yourself to an upward facing dog right here. Try and give yourself a little push up, push down. Use those biceps and triceps a little bit. And then up and back to downward facing dog. We're going to step forward with our right foot. This time we're sweeping our hands forward into high lunge. Sweep your hands back. Interlace your fingers. Open up your shoulders. Start to bend your left knee almost all the way to the earth. And float right there. Adduct the inner thigh muscles a little bit. And then rising back up, straight legs. Keep those fingers interlaced. Try and fold forward, taking your chin towards your right shin bone. Micro bend your right knee. Come back to center. We're going to step forward to the front of the mat. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, come to forward fold. Inhale, halfway gaze. Step back with your right foot. We're moving our way to high lunge. Arms reach up, big breath. Exhale, press your palms back. Interlace your fingers. Open up your shoulders. Micro bend the right knee, almost all the way to the earth. Squeeze, adducting the inner thighs. Keep opening up your shoulders. Breathing in and out. And then try and straighten your legs. As you lift your arms, we start to fold forward, chin moving towards your left shin bone. And then micro bend, left knee, sweep your hands up. Again, step forward to the front of the mat. From here, reaching up, breathing up, interlace your fingers, take your hands down to the earth, tuck your head in between your shoulders and round your spine. You could look up towards your navel. Start to feel your palms pressing firmly into the earth, squeezing the heads of the shoulders, the humerus bones again, in towards the ears. We want to narrow that space between the arms, scoop up the belly, feel that weight shift towards your palms. And then as you look forward, bring your big toes together. We're going to bend our knees and bring those interlaced fingers inside out to Utkatasana. So the knees are bent. We have that reach and lift through the arms. Try and tone your belly, decreasing the curvature of your low back. Let's bring the hands down to the sides. Interlace those fingers behind your back again, opening up your shoulders. Lift your heart, lift your chin. And then forward fold. Keep those knees towards each other. Take your belly down towards your knees. Lift your hands up off your back. Try and take 3 breaths. Maybe forehead to your knees. And then inhale, we rise. Release your hands by reaching, click those heels together. Exhale, let's come to forward fold. Step your way back to downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet a little bit here. And we'll move through a vinyasa. Let's drop down to the knees. Shift your quads forward, move to upward facing dog. Lower yourself to the earth. Inhale, back to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. From there, we're going to step forward with our right foot. As you step forward with your right foot, drop your left knee down. Inhale, arms reach up. We swing our left shin bone over to the right side. We're going to look over to the left, bring the left hand down, reach with your right hand to the sky. And then lunging into the left knee, just breathing there. Maybe reach your hands straight out from your shoulders. We'll bring that back to just normal low lunge. So swing that left shin bone back in, arms reach up, exhale, hands in between your feet. We're going to elevate our left knee, take a twist to the right side now, right hand's reaching up. And then right hand comes down to the earth, step forward to the front of the mat, take a little halfway gaze, exhale, forward fold. Let's roll ourselves up to standing. Make sure that your feet are parallel to each other. Give yourself a little micro bend in the knees, shift your quads forward, lift your heart, reach your hands up overhead, gazing up towards your thumbs, really straight legs. Carve those elbows down the sides. Bring in the fingertips down to the ground. Knees are close to your armpits. Sweep your hands back. Let's interlace and open our shoulders again here. Keep those shoulders really close to the knees. Tuck your head. And then sweep your hands forward towards the front of the mat. Arms in line with your ears. Really squeeze. Feel that adduction of the thighs. Hands come down. Let's step back with our right foot. Drop your right knee down. Fingertips reach up to the sky. We swing that right shin bone in. We're going to take our right hand back now. Left hand is reaching to the sky. You could be on your fingertips or you could be on your palm. And then we rise ourselves up and we lunge towards the left knee. Maybe arms are straight up from your shoulders. Gazing towards that left hand. Feel that stretch of your left calf muscle. Good, rising up. Bring that right shin bone in. Right hand is down, elevate your right knee, left hand reaches to the sky. And then once your left hand comes back down to the ground, step forward to the front of the mat. We're gonna walk our feet pretty close together. Once you walk your feet close together, we're gonna bend our knees. You're gonna bring your palms together. Left elbow is on the outside of the right knee. As you press your palms, rotate your spine to the right side. Try and take 3 more spacious breaths. And then looking down, we push off of the feet. We come back up to standing, arms reach up. Let's take a vinyasa. Forward fold. Inhale, gaze. Step back for plank pose. Lower to the earth. Move to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 5 breaths. And then gaze forward, step forward with your right foot, step forward with your left foot. Both feet are together closely. Take a gaze out, bend your knees. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Join your palms and rotate your spine. Again, deep breaths. Gazing down, unwind. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come down. Let's hop our feet hip width distance. Give yourself a little internal rotation of your big toes. We're gonna bend our knees. Bring your hands to your hips and push your hips forward. From there, lift your gaze towards the sky. Maybe a little bit more bend. Start to lean forward. We're gonna reach up to the sky. From there, separate your palms and start to reach back. And breathe. Returning back to center, hop your feet together. Let's make our way straight to downward facing dog. Keep the length of your spine. Try and bend your knees a little bit. Pushing off through the front of the mat. Move your head, move your shoulders. Cat-like back to plank pose. Lower to the earth. Inhale, upward facing dog. Roll back over those toes, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward. Inhale, sweep your hands up overhead. Take your left hand back towards your left heel. See if you can grab your left heel as your right arm reaches up. If it's okay for you, you're going to continue to reach back with your right hand, maybe gazing over towards the left heel. Don't forget to lunge forward and to the right. Keep that side body stretch. This time, the right hand comes to the inside of the foot. We're going to elevate our left heel and then drop down to the instep. Straightening both legs, reach to the sky with your left hand. And then we're just going to reverse that triangle pose. So left hand back, right arm up. As we look over to the left, you can rotate your spine around. Keep reaching and extending with your left arm in line with that left ear. Maybe looking up towards, your right ear. Maybe looking up towards your right palm. And then coming back to center, we'll take our vinyasa. So bend your right knee, step back for plank pose, lower to the earth. Move to upward facing dog. Make your way downward facing dog. This time left foot steps forward. Open up, rising. Straight both legs. Inhale up and back, reaching with your left hand now. Gazing over to the right side, keep extending in line with that left ear. And then as you rest back up, we rotate. We're going to move to low lunge. Keep your right toes tucked. Reach back towards your right heel. Push off your left foot until your right hand touches your right heel. As you reach up, we rotate that pinky inward. Start to reach up and back, maybe gazing over towards your right heel. Keep that bend in your left knee. Maybe gazing up towards your left palm. And then left hand comes to the inside. We rise up, drop that right heel down, right arm reaches to the sky. We're in triangle from the ground. Stack your shoulders and breathe. And then from here, rising up, just parallel your feet to each other. Take a nice big breath, reach your hands up to the sky. We're gonna bring our hands out to the sides and place your hands on your hips. Give yourself a little micro bend, start to lift, take your gaze back as you reach forward with your quads. Keep your chin tucked slightly to protect your neck. Now look over to the left leg, see if you can touch the left leg and reach up with your right hand to the sky. So it's like a back bend, but in Prasarita Padottanasana, are wide-legged with no forward fold. And then you look over to the right side and you touch the back of your right leg, still in a back bend, reaching up with your left hand. Rooted through the outer edges of your feet. Now look over towards your right ankle. Take your left hand to your right ankle and reach to the sky. Right hand to the sky. And then right hand reaches over to your left ankle and left hand reaches to the sky. One more time, left hand over to the right ankle, reaching to the sky. And right hand over to the left ankle. Stack your shoulders, reach that left hand to the sky. And once you come back to center with that, just grab your elbows, hang really heavy through your shoulders, maybe exhaling through the mouth. Pressing into the feet, rising back up. We're going to take our hands up to the sky. We're going to elevate our left heel, bring that back in. Let's take Vinyasa from here. Hands come down, step back for plank, lower. Nice inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Just breathing for 3 breaths. All right, this time we take our right leg high. We're going to step it forward to the front of the mat, drop down to low lunge, arms reach back up, and we'll take that twist from here. So as you bring your palms together, your left elbow moves to the outside of the knee. Try and tuck that side body all the way down. Press your palms and look off to the right. If you would like, you can lift it up by lifting that left knee. Otherwise, just stay in low lunge. All right, and then looking down, we'll drop that left knee down if it was elevated. We're gonna rise up from here, look back towards your left heel. This time, right hand's reaching back towards your left heel, and left hand is reaching to the sky. So it's a really big twist. Try and call that left side body around. You can look off that right shoulder. And then return. We'll take our hands to the inside, step back for downward facing dog, stretch your spine, move your head forward and back. All right, let's take that left foot forward. Left foot forward, drop down to the knee. Inhale, reach your hands up to the sky. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee, press your palms together and twist. You can stay low here, or if you feel comfortable, tucking your right toes and elevating your right knee. And then we gaze back to the earth, that knee comes back down. Keep your twist. We're looking back towards our right heel this time. Reaching back with your left hand, find your heel, right arm's reaching up to the sky. Keep calling that right side body around so that you can sink a little deeper into the right heel. So again, it's a really big twist. And then rising back up, hands come back down, step back to downward facing dog. We'll stay for 5 breaths this time. And then step your feet behind your hands. Once you step behind your hands, that means that your feet are wide. Clasp your elbows, hang really heavy. Crown of the head is heavy. From your mid-back, your thoracic spine, all the way, hanging heavy. Release that breath through your mouth, release your jaw, release your eyes. Just feel that stretch of the vertebrae. Could be a heavy breath through the mouth. Welcoming that heaviness of your elbows. In the back of your skull, you should feel that heaviness there. And then open your eyes and slowly roll yourself up to standing. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, bring your hands out to the sides. Let's come down to seated. So bring your hands forward. See if you can take a squat. Bring your hands down. We'll come all the way to our back. Take a full body stretch and notice the length of the side body and how much more space there is behind your shoulder blades. All right, we're gonna pull the knees in, we're gonna cross our ankles, we're gonna roll up and take a vinyasa. So feet step back to plank pose and lower to the earth. From there, upward facing dog, make your way to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're gonna step forward with our right foot. We're gonna rise up to a high lunge, but once you rise up to high lunge, you're gonna bring your arms out to the side. Our right elbow is gonna go underneath our left elbow, either back or front of palms together here. Start to look down beyond your right foot for a moment. We're gonna carry our left foot forward over to the right corner of the mat. So lots of space, and then bend your knees, and you might come down to seated, or you might just float halfway. And then very carefully, if you're all the way down to the ground, I want you to release your right hand down and reach up with your left hand. Carry that left hand over to the right side. Maybe looking up towards your left palm. Otherwise, right hand would be on your hip and left hand would be reaching up and over. So you can still do that lead. And then if you're down, rise yourself back up, hands come back together. We'll just step forward to the front of the mat. Arms reach up, exhale, come to forward fold. Let's take a vinyasa, look out. Press your palms, step back for plank, lower to the earth. Move to upward facing dog, exhale to downward facing dog. Step forward with your left foot. We're making our way to high lunge, arms reach up. This time as the hands come out, it's our left elbow under the right. Backward front palms together. Look off to the left side. Figure out where you're going to step. It's forward and to the left. So right foot forward and to the left. Start to bend your knees. This might be where you stay. Otherwise, sit down. Elevate your elbows and breathe. And then you decide. Maybe your left hand is on the ground as you're reaching with your right hand. Maybe your left hand is on your hip if you're reaching with your right hand. Depends on if you're halfway or all the way down on the ground. Gaze up towards your right palm. Breathing there. And then your hands come back. And we use our feet, we rise back up, step back to the center of your mat. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, come to forward fold. Gaze and lengthen. Step back for plank, lower to the earth. Upward facing dog. Make your way to downward facing dog. Take our last 5 breaths here in downward facing dog. It's our last downward facing dog today. All right, we're gonna look forward, step forward with your right foot. Once you step forward with your right foot, you're gonna drop down to the left knee. Once you step down to the left knee, you're gonna turn your right toes out, and then we're just gonna come down to the ground with our left forearm and see if we can have our left hip on the ground here. So the right knee is up. If you need to nudge it over for a little bit more space, you're more than welcome to. We're on the outside of our left foot. Once you find that, reach to the sky with your right hand. If you feel comfortable, you're going to take that right hand down and start to reach in line with the side body. You can make a fist with your left hand and lift your left hip if you want. Maybe gazing out towards your right palm. And then if that hip is lifted, bring it back down. We're just breathing here. You might call that heel in a little bit closer. Maybe use your right hand to open it up a little bit. That means the instep of the foot can lift. And then you're just going to roll back to your belly. Once you come down to your belly, you're going to reach your hands forward for prone pose. Stretch those fingers forward. From your mid-back, crawl the bottom of your rib cage forward. All right, bring your hands back in. Let's try our left side. So you're gonna come to tabletop. We'll step forward with our left foot. Once you step forward with your left foot, you're going to lift those left toes, turn them out to the left side. We shift down to the right forearm, come down to the right side body. If you need to readjust the bottom of that left foot, you can. We're reaching straight up to the sky with our left hand. The outside of your right foot is planted on the earth. You can stay there reaching to the sky, or take your left hand down, reaching long and lengthened, in line with your left ear. From there, if you feel comfortable just breathing and reaching in that side, you can. Otherwise, use your forearm and lift your right hip off the ground. We'll try 3, maybe 4 breaths here if you're lifting. Keep lifting out of the right shoulder. And hip comes back down. Just breathing there for a moment. Again, maybe use your left hand as you push that left knee away. You can open up the bottom of your left foot. And then releasing that, we'll come back to our belly again. Walk your hands as far forward as you can. Stretch your spine. And this time, as you walk your hands back, we're going to press up to the knees and shift those quads forward. Inhale, big breath, reaching up overhead. Exhale, hands are going to come down. We're going to readjust our knees a little bit closer together. The feet are wide still. And then we're going to shift those quads forward. Push down into the sacrum a little bit so you can stretch out your low back. Once you do that, we're going to squeeze the scapula together. Lift your heart. Keep drawing your sternum forward. From there, if you're comfortable, reaching up to the sky. You might tuck your right toes. We might reach back with your right heel to your foot, or just keep looking up, reaching up to the sky. If you're reaching up and looking up to the sky, see if you can take your left hand behind your head, give yourself a little bit more back bend. You might be tucked on those right toes still. Some of you might release your toes, bring your palm to your foot, left elbows to the sky. Remember about that breath. So wherever you are, again, you might feel a little vulnerable. Find your breath. Back bends are challenging. Don't worry, the video hasn't frozen. We're still breathing. And then left arm reaches up, push off that foot, rise to the sky with your hands. It's really important that you draw your navel in now and think of that upright reach and upright spine. All right, just release your hands down. Take a breath, relax your shoulders a little bit. You can move from side to side. Maybe even reaching over to your right side, stepping your left foot out and taking another stretch of the side body. Feel like you need a little reach. Otherwise, you could just do it in between. Knees down, giving yourself that lateral stretch. Right hand would be behind your knee. And then back to center. And we'll make sure that those knees are close together again. Your heels are wider here. We're going to reach the hands up, shift your quads forward, lift up out of your low back. This might be where you stay. Otherwise, you might reach back. Left hand could even be on your low back here, pushing forward and supporting you. If you want a little bit more, you tuck your left toes. Left hand reaches to your left foot. Right hand's reaching up. That might be where you stay. If you want a little bit more, you release your left toes, shift your left palm to your foot. This time it would be right hand supporting the back of the head as your right elbow reaches up to the sky. Most important is that you're breathing wherever you are. Calm, thoughtful, slow breaths. Still breathing. Extending the right arm up. Push yourself back up. Both arms reach. Everybody, navel in towards your spine. Lift up, reach up. From your belly, flatten out your low back. Lift up, reach up. And exhale. We're going to go ahead and cross our ankles, have a seat. Otherwise, roll over to the side. We're coming all the way to our back. Before you come down, if you're not down, make sure you have that block nearby. And then we're just going to take a full body stretch. And as you take that full body stretch, feel the backs of the shoulders pressing. Take time to draw your navel in, root your low back into the earth a few times. And then we're going to bring our knees to the belly and take the knees directly over to the right side. Or twist there. Try and open up your shoulders. Rotting through the shoulder blades. Let your palms rest up and open. I'm going to stay here for a little bit. So you can start to move into exhaling through your mouth. Back bends and twists are always done together. It's a wonderful way to unwind your spine with care. You can always twist before and always twist after a back bend. And then rolling yourself back to center, cross your ankles, rising back up. We're going to come back to hands and knees. Once you come back to hands and knees, reach your hands up to the sky. Exhale, bringing your left hand down towards the ground and reaching with your right hand. Otherwise, if your fingertips don't touch, you can step your right leg out and reach that right arm in line with your right ear if you want for that full side body stretch. Another thing that's really wonderful to do whenever you're back bending are lateral stretches. That means bending the spine sideways. Never forward fold, always sideways bend and twist. And you might bring that knee back in and just see what that feels like. Press up to your fingers, keep breathing. And then rising back up. Come back down to your back. That might be crossing your ankles, stretching your legs forward, or rolling to the side. Let's take another full body stretch. This time, the knees in, and knees over to your left side. Again, shoulders are out, palms are up. And then rolling to your back. So as you roll to your back, just keep your knees in towards your belly. Rock a little bit from side to side. Maybe around in circles. And then give yourself a gentle hug. And carefully let your feet rest on the mat and let your knees sway from side to side. Finding that block or that object that you're going to use, we're going to elevate our hips for a moment. It could be on whatever level that feels good to you. It could be a blanket, it could be a bolster, it could be a zafu cushion. And just giving your hips a little bit of height. If you have a block, you get to decide which height is most suitable for you. Make sure that your sacrum is fully supported. So you feel the small of your back is supported on that block. It's level. Keep your chin slightly elevated. I'm going to stay here for about 7 breaths. If you are on a block and you would like to have more of an inversion today, you can bring your knees in towards your belly and simply extend your legs to the sky. It's not mandatory. Again, it's your practice. Just see what might be available to you. It might feel good to lift your legs. Feel that weight across your sacrum and the weight across your shoulders. It's always beneficial to find reversal of our blood flow to help with changing the direction of the blood flow to clear the blood vessels themselves. And it helps to reduce inflammation and stimulate our lymphatic lymph nodes in the body so that we're able to move fluid and release toxins in the body. Additional benefits of being in inversions are we get a lot of stimulation to the spine, the central nervous system, all that wonderful blood flow and oxygen to the brain. And the part that happens at the end is when we find ourselves upright again, then our heart muscle has to work really hard, so it actually strengthens your heart to flood the body in all those areas that were inverted. So there's a lot of benefits to being upside down, legs up the wall, headstands, handstands, something as simple as this, supported bridge pose. Feet down, feet up. Notice that being in something that's inverted also slows down the rate of the heart. It slows down your lungs. So it slows down the blood pressure. It's very calming and soothing. If your legs are upward towards the sky, slowly bend your knees and set your feet back down. Once the feet are on the ground, just move your knees from side to side. And then removing the block or the bolster or whatever you have there, coming all the way down to your low back. Once you come all the way down to your low back, you're going to roll to the side and make your way up to a seated pose. From your seated pose, we're going to use our block and come to that supported Matsayasana. This is our final posture today. So again, you might have 2 blocks or you might have a block and a second object. We're placing one of the blocks right at the shoulder blades. So as you hold it, you're going to lift that block pretty high. It's above the middle of your back. It's up towards your shoulder blades. You're going to lower back onto that. From there, you would use that second item to support the back of your head if your head is not touching the ground. If your head is touching the ground, you're more than welcome to just allow your head to touch the ground. Some of you might decide, if you're on a block, to come up to a higher level. Right? That's up to you. Most importantly, that your head is touching something. Right? You don't want to just allow your head to hang heavy. You want to make sure you feel supported. You're going to feel that opening across the pectoral muscles again, this lift of the heart, the stimulation behind your lungs with that surface that you're supported on. Arms are out, palms are resting up, and you'll stay for maybe 7 breaths. And in the slowest way, just begin to enter your breath more fully. Taking time to move your fingers. And slowly step your feet to the earth. Just pausing there. See if you can move your hips towards your heels a little bit to unwind your low back. If your head is supported on a block, move your head from side to side, otherwise just remaining still. If your head is on the earth, carefully interlace your fingers behind your skull and elevate your head. And then everyone, rolling slowly to your side. Coming down to your side and pausing for a moment. Continuing to stimulate your lungs. And then using your fingers to help yourself up to some kind of seated pose. Bringing the hands together before the heart and bowing to that internal space. Honoring the lightness of this moment. And the radiance and divine light within. This openness behind your lungs and within the heart center. And thank yourself for the kindness and care and nurture you brought your being tonight. For every moment along the journey of your practice, thank yourself for the kindness and care you brought. And I thank you for sharing your journey and practice with me. Namaste.